PJ Washington, the unlikely star for the Mavericks. From the shadows of the bench to the spotlight of the game-winning shot, the story of an unexpected hero unfolds. PJ Washington is a name that every Mavericks fan and basketball commentator recognizes. In a season full of twists and turns, Washington has emerged as a source of hope and perseverance for the Dallas Mavericks. Making not one but two major transactions immediately before the trade deadline was a daring move by the Dallas Mavericks to climb the Western Conference rankings. They made a significant roster alteration by adding Daniel Gafford from Washington and PJ Washington from Charlotte. Have these moves moved the Mavericks closer to winning the championship? That is the main question. The Mavericks appear to have strengthened their team right away. Gafford should improve the team's backup center, and trading Washington for Grant Williams appears to be a solid move. What actually matters, however, is how much better the squad will perform now that these players are on board. Were good arrangements made between Washington and the Mavericks? He's an excellent offensive player who can play both forward and big positions, as evidenced by his performance in the previous two seasons. At first glance, Washington appeared to be gradually ascending up the ladder. They averaged 12 points per game and made consistent three-pointers. However, he's recently had more scoring job to do, as he now averages around 15 points every game. Because he had more work to do, his field goal percentage fell to 44.5%, while his three-point percentage dipped to 33.9%. Washington has been a less efficient scorer in recent years, with an efficiency that's approximately 7% lower than the league average. Despite these difficulties, Washington's age, 25 years old, has made him valuable in trade talks, as many believe he would perform better on a stronger team. Aside from scoring goals, his contribution to Charlotte's success has been less clear than many expected given his talent level. Many people believe Washington would make an excellent defender in principle, but a closer look at his defensive performance reveals that he's not always been useful in practice. Many fans hope that his massive 6'7" frame and incredible 7' 2.5 wingspan would disrupt the opposing team's game. He can block and steal shots, but he hasn't been consistent in his rotation play. Washington has done an excellent job of rotating defensive methods and physically guarding larger wings. When Washington is at full strength in his third season, his speed and defense truly shine. He might have a significant impact on the Mavericks' defense because he is long and strong, creating a formidable barrier for opponents. In this smart move, the Mavericks have added players to their team, which gives them a lot of new options for how they can change their offense and defense. How well these parts work together on the court will decide how well they do, and whether they can turn their supposed benefits into real wins. In general, PJ Washington's season has been bad, and his shooting rate dropped to a new low of 32.4% this year. He had a scary 25.6% success rate when he tried to shoot from the corner three-point line. The NBA's statistics site shows that Washington has only scored 0.88 points on spot-up chances, which include both his catch and shoots and his attempts to get by players who were closing in on him. This puts him in the bottom 20%, which is strange because he came into the league known as a shot and made over 39% of his threes in his second season. Washington's amazing 43-point game against Utah on January 27th showed how good they are at scoring, even though they were in a slump. However, he's always been inefficient, and this season his true shooting percentage of 55.2% is only a little lower than his career low. Still, there's a chance that Washington's skills could be developed and used to their fullest in a way that's never been possible in Dallas's system. If the Mavericks want to win, he needs to get his shot back on track. Washington's deal value has stayed high because people keep thinking that he would do better on a more aggressive team. He's great at getting goals, but it hasn't had the effect on Charlotte's success, or lack thereof, that you'd expect from a player on a stronger team. The main reason why Washington's standards didn't match up with reality is that he was too defensive. With a height of 6 feet 7 inches and a reach of 7 feet and 2.5 inches, Washington should be a strong defender who can use his height to stop opponents. His defense, on the other hand, has been more show than content. The way he rotates on defense every day has been bad, but he can steal the ball and block shots. Washington is good at physical fights with bigger opponents and defensive schemes that can be changed by switching players around. His best games, especially those in his third year, show that he is a strong and quick player who can beat opponents when he's at his best. These high hopes for Washington's defense are based on his strong build and long arms, which make him a scary presence on defense. That being said, PJ Washington has only recently proven his worth. The Dallas Mavericks played the Golden State Warriors on the second night of a back-to-back set. The Mavericks were missing star player Luka Doncic, so the game would be tough. PJ Washington scored 32 points, which helped the Mavericks win 108-106. Kyrie Irving also did a great job of stepping up for the team in this high-pressure situation. Without a question, Kyrie Irving was astounded by Washington's performance. He was spectacular, Irving said. You could tell it was going to be his game the moment it started. This is the type of energy we need, especially in the absence of key players. We rely on offensive dynamism such as this. Washington took advantage of the opportunity to step up and compensate for Dončic's presence, while the Warriors focused on Irving. Washington was well prepared for the challenge due to his track record of high-scoring games, which included 3 occasions when he scored more than 40 points. According to Washington, I always look for my chances to attack. Well said. My goal is to be aggressive from the start, to constantly apply pressure on the opposition. The suspense peaked in the final second of the game. Despite having a clear shot at the basket, Hardaway Jr. chose to drive to the basket after getting the ball from Irving, who was being double-teamed. With the score knotted at 106-108, Dallas seized the lead with a key pass to Washington in the paint, who made the game-winning basket. I saw Tim driving and thought he was going for the shot, Washington reminisced on the pivotal moment. The first thing that came to mind was to plan for a return. When the pass eventually came to me, I was entirely focused on making the play that would win the game. PJ Washington delivered an explosive scoring outburst for the Mavericks, demonstrating his flexibility. He not only made an impression with his ball handling skills in transition, but he also demonstrated his ability to finish plays when necessary. He was very talented in catch-and-shoot situations, and he rounded out his game by making cutter plays. Dwight Powell created many scoring opportunities after receiving handoffs from Kyrie Irving, and Washington took advantage of the defensive emphasis on Irving to execute excellent cross-screen plays. He really knew how to pick his moments and take advantage of what the defense allowed him. Kyrie Irving said of Washington's plan, "I believe he made full use of the opportunities that presented himself, as there was a noticeable increase in aggression." Washington has just turned it on after a difficult 3-game stretch in the middle of March, in which his shooting was inconsistent. Washington, on the other hand, has been more active offensively in his last 6 games, scoring 10 or more in 5 of them. He has had unshakable faith in his shooting abilities during this time, and he's prepared to take and make shots at any time. In these 6 games, he's become a more essential part of the team's offensive machine, averaging 17.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 2.0 assists. Washington has demonstrated his ability to thrive in a variety of game circumstances, and his most recent performance has come at an important time for the Mavericks. His growing confidence as a shooter, combined with his drive to exploit defensive holes, have made him a vital member of the team for the remainder of the season. So that's all the time we had today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time.